Alright, let's jump right into it. Let's learn how we can maximize our health savings account, aka HSA. Better known as the ultimate retirement account in the financial independence circle with its amazing triple tax benefits. And hi, if you're new to the channel, my name is Tay from Financial Tortoise, where we learn to grow our wealth slow and steady. Step 1 to maximize your HSA. Enroll in a high-deductible health insurance plan, aka HDHP. Health savings account is pretty awesome. However, not anyone can just go out and open one. You have to meet some qualifications. You can't be enrolled in Medicare or TRICARE. You can't be covered by any other medical plan, such as your spouse's health plan. And the plan that you're covered under has to be a qualifying high-deductible health plan, aka HDHP, which meets the minimum deductible and the maximum out-of-pocket threshold for the year. And these high-deductible health plans might not be offered by all employers, but if your employer does offer them, you might want to take a closer look. A high-deductible health plan has a high deductible as the name implies. However, they also come with lower premiums. So if you don't use your health insurance much except for preventative care, you could be saving quite a bit on your health insurance cost. Of course, do the math to confirm, but this was certainly the case when my wife and I decided to switch to a high-deductible health plan. After we had kids, we didn't have much ongoing health cost, so we were able to save the premium difference between our previous health plan and the HDHP. But the real benefit of having HDHP is the ability to open up a health savings account, which takes us to step number 2. Step 2 to maximize your HSA. Open up a health savings account. Now that you're eligible to contribute to a health savings account, if you don't already have one, it is time to open your HSA. If your company offers HDHP and a corresponding HSA, that is great. You can open one via your company's benefits provider. However, even if they don't, there are tons of HS providers to choose from. Lively, Fidelity, Health Equity, Bank of America, etc. Now, there are no perfect HSA providers. They all have their pros and cons, but I personally have my account with Fidelity. And no, they're not sponsoring this video. I've checked multiple companies, and Fidelity just had everything I was looking for. Simple to use interface, no account fees, and access to low-cost broad market index fund that I liked. The Fidelity Total Market Index Fund, aka FSKAX, a fund that tracks the total US stock market and also has an expense ratio of 0.015%. And it didn't hurt that it already has some investment accounts with Fidelity. But even if you don't go with Fidelity, as long as the provider can give you access to low-cost broad market index fund at low cost, you should be good to go. Step 3 to maximize your HSA. Max out your HSA contribution. Contributions to your HSA are tax deductible, which means that every dollar you contribute reduces your annual taxable income. Lower taxable income, less taxes you have to pay, which means money saved that could be invested in your other accounts. Another cool fact about investing in HSA is that in addition to avoiding federal income tax, you're able to avoid paying FICA taxes, Social Security and Medicare on your contribution. If you have a decent income, this really adds up. Here are a few facts about the HSA contribution limits. For individuals, the contribution limit is $4,150 for the year 2024. This increases to $4,300 for the year 2025. For families, the contribution limit is $8,300 for the year 2024. This increases to $8,550 for the year 2025. Those 55 and older can contribute an additional $1,000 as a catch-up contribution. Now, how much tax can you save? Let's do some math. Let's assume that you and your family are in the 32% tax bracket. If you're maxing out the contribution limit for families for the year 2024, $8,300, this translates to approximately $2,700 in federal income tax savings. This is quite a bit of money, enough to buy yourself a new MacBook. But because you're an investing savant, you're probably thinking how this can fund a good chunk of your Roth IRA, right? Step 4 to maximize your HSA. Grab your employer HSA contribution. Some employers offer HSA contributions for just choosing a HSA qualified health plan. If the company is contributing a good chunk of your health insurance premium, it saves them money when employees choose a lower premium health plan, such as a high-deductible health plan. So in order to incentivize more people to select the lower cost health plans, some companies contribute directly into their HSA account. Other companies may even offer a HSA contribution match like the 401k. This is free money. So make sure to review your plan documents to see if your employer offers an HSA contribution. If they do, another good reason to opt for a high-deductible health plan and max out that HSA. Step 5 to maximize your HSA. Max out your tax savings. When we did the math earlier, when you contribute into your HSA, you're saving money instantly because you're paying less in taxes. If you're in a 32% tax bracket and you're maxing out the full $8,300 contribution limit for families for 2024, you're saving $2,700 in federal income tax savings. And we're not even factoring in FICA tax savings. Medicare and Social Security, which could be in hundreds of dollars. Now, with all these savings, the temptation is to spend that money, right? That new computer you recently saw at the Apple Store is calling your name. Or are you thinking about upgrading your 16-inch TV to a 72-inch plasma screen? Or to impress your partner with your genius tax savings? How about a fancy dinner out at the local French restaurant? But I say, resist the temptation. When you become a multimillionaire with all these amazing tax savings, you will not only be able to take your partner out on multiple fancy French dinners, but you'll actually be enjoying them in France. When it comes to winning and investing, it's not about finding the right investment, the sexy hot stocks or mutual funds that supposedly beat the market. No, rather it is investing in a cheap and boring market indexing fund and holding it for a long period of time. Time in the market. So what you want to do is invest that savings into the market. Fund your Roth IRA or a taxable brokerage account if you already maxed out all your tax advantage accounts. Put more money into the market and let your investment grow. Step 6 to maximize your HSA. Don't use the HSA to pay for immediate medical expenses. Many people treat HSA like a savings account for health expenses. They put some money into their HSA, and when they have a qualifying medical expense like a doctor's visit or medication, they immediately reimburse themselves from their HSA account. However, do not do that. Do not use the HSA to pay for immediate medical expenses. Keep track of your medical expenses, but pay for them out of pocket with your after-tax money. And you might be asking, why, right? Isn't the whole point of having a health savings account so you can cover your medical expenses? Well, hear me out. One of the things that make HSA uniquely flexible is that the IRS does not stipulate a required reimbursement timeframe. This creates an opportunity to effectively bank your receipts and save them to pay yourself back down the road. And I mean way down the road. Much after your HSA account has grown and appreciated beyond the initial contribution amount. But how to ensure our HSA account appreciates, which leads to the next step. Step 7 to maximize your HSA. Alright, now that you have your HSA account open and are funding it, time to invest the money within the HSA. If you want to really maximize the power of HSA, don't let your contribution sit in a savings account. Inflation will completely destroy its value over the long run. What you want to do is treat it like a retirement account and invest the balance in a low-cost, broad market index fund. This is how some people are able to have hundreds of thousands of dollars saved in their HSA account. They invested their HSA money into appreciating assets that took advantage of time and power of compounding. For example, let's say that you contributed the max for family HSA contribution limit for 2024, $8,300, and you invested in a low-cost, broad market index fund that either tracked the total market or the S&P 500. As I mentioned earlier, I invested all my HSA money into FSKAX, Fidelity Total Market Index Fund that tracks approximately 4,000 US publicly traded companies in the stock market. If the market returned an average annual return of approximately 8%, and I held this HSA for the next 10 years, my account balance would have grown close to $18,000, more than double the original value. But look what happens if I hold it for 20 years. Close to $40,000. Close to 5 times the original $8,300. 30 years? $83,000. 10 times the original amount. That in my book is crazy. You start with $8,300, and just because you decided to invest it, it has grown to 10 times the original amount. And what is so cool about money within this HSA account is that unlike money in a 401k or a Roth IRA account, I can access it anytime as long as I have proper records of my medical expenses, which leads to the next step. Step 8 to maximize your HSA. Keep track of all your medical expenses and receipts. You know how we talked about earlier? Don't spend your HSA money on immediate medical expenses. Instead, pay out of pocket. Well, just because you spent money out of pocket doesn't mean you forget about that medical expense. You want to keep track of every single one of them. How much you spent, who you spent it with, and also you want to keep the receipt as proof. The reason is because once you have a record of your spending and receipts, what you can do is reimburse yourself anytime you need it. That could be 10 years from now, 20 or even 30 years. Way after your account has grown and appreciated, because it is investing in a low-cost, broad market index fund. However, in order to stay compliant, you need to maintain a good record of all your medical expenses. In an off chance you get audited by the IRS, you need documents to prove that you had legitimate medical expenses. Otherwise, you could be subject to income tax and penalties, and we wouldn't like that. But keeping track of all your medical expenses could get messy if you're not organized. So my recommendation is keep track of it using a simple spreadsheet. And with your receipts, scan them and designate a folder in your cloud server to store them. Every time I have a qualifying medical expense, I just make a note on my spreadsheet and upload the receipt in my Google Drive folder with the date and the vendor. A quick reminder, if you don't want to start from scratch to keep track of your HSA-related medical expenses, I have a couple free gifts I want to share with you. One, a free HSA expense tracker where you can keep track of all your medical and dental expenses, so when it comes time to withdraw, you know exactly how much you're eligible for. And two, a free PDF companion guide that summarizes all the steps I'm covering here so you don't forget any of them. Whenever I encounter good information, I love to capture it so I can remember it in the future. Well, I've done that for you via this PDF. So make sure to go to the link I'll have in the description below to grab your free copy of this free PDF companion guide in addition to this free HS expense tracker. My gift to you for taking your precious time to watch my face and admire my new amazing hairstyle for this long. Don't worry, I see all your comments about my new hairdo. Alright, enough with the hair. Let's get back to the video. Step 9 to maximize your HSA. Treat your HSA as a traditional IRA after 65. If for some reason you reach the age of 65, but you haven't accumulated enough medical receipts to fully liquidate your HSA account, no problem. You can use the funds in the HSA towards ordinary expenses in the same way that a traditional IRA can be used for any expenses after standard retirement age. Taxed as income. Of course, qualified medical expenses will continue to be tax-free. Either way, you're still able to reap some tax benefits by owning an HSA, regardless of having spent it all on medical expenses or not. Step 10 to maximize your HSA. Alright, now that you're a HSA master, it is time to do some flexing. In the next dinner out with your friends, make sure to mention the triple tax benefits of opening up a HSA. Hey Charlie, that is some tasty looking calamari. By the way, what health plan do you have? Oh, a high-deductible health plan? So I assume you have an HSA account, right? Well, no? Well, let me tell you all about it. I promise you, you'll be the star of that dinner. Thank you guys for watching. In the spirit of optimizing our investments, if you want to learn about some other popular investment options in what I like to call the investment spectrum, please check out my video here. Until next time, all the best.